putting on some draws right now, sure.
Yo.
There you go. I hear you. There you go.
What up, no?
Man, what's happening, Tony?
What's happening? Do I need the headphones? Y'all got the headphones.
Now, this is my assistant, Lee.
What's going on, man?
What's up, man? Y'all looking mad professional up in here. I'm just out here raw-eared.
Got that raw ear. It's all good. Okay. You don't need the buns. You know, we like it raw.
The ear, no.
First of all, I appreciate you hopping on. You know what I'm saying? You know, we go way, way back.
Way back.
Yeah, to the open mic days, to Marty's and
man, Amsterdam, Marty's.
Amsterdam. You know, you was the first person to tell me about Marty's. And I remember you told me about it. He was like, yeah, it's this open mic and you pay $5. I was like, nigga, I ain't paying no goddamn $5 to tell no jokes. And then it ended up I being there like every night, like, here go my $5, brother. I'm trying to work on some new material.
Yeah. Because the appeal of Marty's was that you can get up multiple times.
Exactly.
You could do your set in that little main room and then go in that little bunker and then do another set. So you get 2 sets for the price of 1.
And then you had the patio.
Yeah. You can do 3.
Yeah, 3.
But nobody offering 3 when you at the ha you just paid the 5.
It was a low-end comedy store. It was the open mic comedy store.
It was.
So let me tell you why I created this platform, brother. I started it because I wanted to celebrate people that I found to be living legends, indoor making legendary moves out here in these streets. And you somebody that I feel like ever since you came on the scene, been making some legendary moves, and then definitely the way you started using Instagram to catapult your career and to take your career in your own hands. I feel like that's something that a lot of people are kind of looking at right now as a blueprint to how they could start getting some type of success, even if Hollywood isn't all the way messing with them at the moment or right. Being slow to come about. So if y'all don't know, man, Tony Baker, he's been on the Carmichael Show. His voiceovers are killing it on Instagram. He's an ADD regular. He's doing it all. What was that movie you was in? They cut you out of.
Oh,
the drumming.
Whiplash.
The
Academy Award winning film Whiplash. I'm out.
I seen your body though. I said, there go Tony's body.
The silhouette. No, that's
silhouette.
The silhouette. The silhouette.
Hey man, so I want to do something like this because I know most people on these platforms, y'all do a lot of stuff on ADD, but when it comes to like, I just know like there's a lot of places where everybody can't get on a late night talk show yet. Everybody can't get on Ellen yet. And for to have a platform where people could kind of come and really get to know you. It's not in like quick sound bites, but people really get to learn like your backstory and all of that type of stuff, you know. So I wanted to start, everybody know you from Chicago. Mm-hmm. When did you start coming around to comedy? Was it being in Chicago or was it something that came a little later on in your life?
It was much later, bro. Like, you know, I was raised in Chicago and then I ended up moving to New Mexico. I went to New Mexico State University. And so I always wanted to act, man. Like, you know, ever since I was a kid. But, you know, growing up on the south side of Chicago, I wasn't seeing the industry in my face. Like in my neighborhood, there was no auditions. There was no, I mean, there were, but I wasn't seeing them. And because, you know, they film a lot of movies in Chicago and then that only grew as time went on. But like when I was a kid, it's like another world. Like, man, you got to be in LA. You know, you got to be white. First of all, you got to be white.
Hey, why you thought you had to be white to be in Hollywood?
Because, man, it was like, yeah, I was seeing shows like The Cosby Show and like, you know, Good Times, What's Happening, reruns and like, you know, Amen. But I was more interested in movies when I was a kid. Even though I watched mad TV shows, we would watch the TV shows left and right. I was movie driven, like movies excited me. And it was like the only movie star that was black, that was a bona fide star to me on my radar was Eddie Murphy.
Yeah, straight up.
Like Eddie Murphy, it was like when I was like fully cognizant of like, you know, watching movies and getting excited about them, the genre I was really seeing was like, you know, the big budget, Indiana Jones and like Back to the Future, Ghostbusters, those type of movies. So and then my older brothers watched a lot of horror movies and stuff like that. But the bona fide star was Eddie Murphy, and I was like, I saw 48 Hours, and I saw him on SNL, and then I saw him transition into Beverly Hills Cop, which was huge. And so I was like, man, he's like the only black guy movie star. You know, even though Richard Pryor had box office hits before that, that wasn't really, it didn't really resonate to me the way Eddie did.
Right.
And so I was just like, man. And so for me, I know I'm not an Eddie Murphy. So I was just like, man, to make it, I got to be white pretty much. Because everything else,
right,
it was like Eddie Murphy and then white.
Right. And
I can
understand that.
Man, and growing up on the south side of Chicago, if you're not familiar with the city, Chicago is very segregated. And my whole upbringing was black. It was like, you know, on the south side is black folks. You go up north, you see white folks. That was it. And so my teachers, my friends, my whole environment was just black. And I was like, man, this ain't Hollywood. And so I would just had that little dream in my head of like, man, I'd love to be an actor. But anyway, let me do something. And so, and I never wanted to do theater. Like, you know, Chicago is a theater rich city. And so when I went to the Regal Theater to see plays, I was like, this is cool, but I wouldn't want to do no theater, man. Where the movies at?
Right.
And stuff. Yeah, that's how they was, man, where the movies at?
Yeah, straight
all
up.
that Artist Thou and, you know.
I did Shakespeare in middle school, so I know what you're talking about. Some bullshit.
Man, because it was the language. Like, I didn't connect with Shakespeare's language. And then when I would watch, like, you know, you see something at the Regal, it's a black production. So I was like, oh, this is cool. But, like, maybe if I was able to see The Wiz live, I'd have been like, yo, this, you know. And so, so it just became like a dream of mine, but I was like, man, it's just a dream. And so, but I still never lost that passion for movies and acting. And as I got older, and then when I went to college, I was making my own I was making Instagram Vine videos in college.
Oh, okay.
Just doing it for the love of it, doing like funny horror skits and whatever. And then they would get around campus and be like, man, this is funny. And we were just doing it on the strength. But my major was psychology because I was like, man, I don't want to do theater. So I didn't want to major in theater. And I didn't get accepted into a film school. So
which one you applied to?
I applied to this film school in Santa Fe. I don't even remember the name of it.
God damn, Santa Fe ain't accept you? Now that's some bullshit.
Man, they were like, nah. Like, all right. It was humbling. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like,
if I can't get into Santa Fe, then goddamn. Yeah.
You apply anywhere else, and Santa Fe was like, nah, you ain't good enough out here. You just hear that little falcon overhead, that little desert noise. You know, once you get that first deny on something you was already uncertain about, you be like, all right, I'm gonna just, you know, secondary education. And then, mind you, to your original question, I'm still never even remotely thinking about being a stand-up comedian. I'm focused on acting. I'm like, man, I want to be an actor, acting. And so I auditioned for a play on campus of Mice and Men.
Absolutely.
Auditioned for it just on the whim. Let me audition for this and not get it. I got a role in it. I played Crooks. Loved it. I was like, yo, theater ain't as bad as I thought it was. I won an award for that. And then I did another play with the same director. It was like a holiday play. I was playing various characters. I was like, yo, theater is better than I thought it was. And then when I did Fences, and I played Troy Maxon, which is the lead character, and I realized that I could memorize all that dialogue and deliver it in a straight shot, I was like, man, I got to pursue this acting thing for real. So that's when I dropped out of school. I only had a year left before I got my degree in secondary education.
That's how Keenan Ivory Wayans was, I believe, too. I think he dropped out his senior year or before his senior year.
Yep. And I was just like, I got to do this, man, because this is going to haunt me if I don't really truly go for it.
Now, was your mom supportive? Were they supportive of that?
You know what? To be honest with you, bro, everybody was supportive. Like, now, mind you, I'm already a father at this time. I'm already, you know, a grown man. and it was just like, yo, I'm moving to California to pursue acting. And my mom was like, okay.
Go ahead.
Yeah. I
Get
was
your ass
scared to tell
on.
my dad though. I was scared to tell him because he was all about that education. I'm like, yeah, graduate. And he was sending me money, you know. And then I was scared to tell him. And then I didn't tell him till I was already out here.
You're like, hey, Pops.
Yeah.
I just moved into my apartment in Burbank.
Yeah, I dropped out of school. But anyway, how's Gloria doing? That's my stepmother, you know. And but surprisingly too, he was supportive. You
Wow.
know,
Did they see you in any of those productions, in any of those acting productions?
no,
Wow, that's
no.
great.
Yeah, they just knew. I guess they just trusted my decision making. I
So you
guess.
was out here raw dogging in these college streets. That's how old were you when you had your first kid, your first son?
Oh, I was 22 when Serene was born.
Okay.
Yeah, then my second son was born. I was 24.
Okay, but you was married though, right? You was married when you first came out to LA, right?
Yeah, when we got here, we were married, but we had the kids before we got married.
Gotcha. All right, you did it the right way.
Yeah, you know, you get the kids first, then you get married.
Then you get married. Come on, man. That's how we
That's
do
what
it.
they need to put in these biblicals. Yeah.
All right, so when you got to LA, so you moved to LA to act, not to do stand up, right?
Right.
What was the decision? What was the moment when you was like, yo, I'm finna actually try stand up comedy?
That came, you know, Justin, you've been out here, man. And I think your journey is a little different because you was booking in Georgia, right? You
Yeah,
was
I booked
booking
2
roles.
films in college. Yeah.
So you came in on the strength of just like, I booked films. So you had that under your belt. You was like, yeah, you know.
That's
I
right.
was coming in. I did theater at New Mexico State. Y'all want this. You see the pedigree. Yeah,
Yeah.
man. And so I'm out here. I'm trying to get an agent. I'm trying to, and my headshots was complete bullshit, bro. My headshots, I put them on Instagram a couple times and roasted the shit out of myself. But complete bullshit headshots. I'm coming out here not knowing how it works, looking for an agent. You know, I'm signing up with these agencies that get you extra work. And so, you know, I'm
Oh,
doing
I done
extra
been there.
work.
What is it called? I forgot the name. They got me on their wall too. Extras cat. I forgot the name of that shit.
They got the one here in Burbank,
Central Casting.
Central Casting.
They
That's
got me
probably
on
the
their
biggest.
wall of fame. It's
Oh wow,
next to Tiffany Haddish. Yeah.
that's funny, man. Because everybody, don't get me wrong. There is a place for extra work and all of that, and Central Casting is probably the biggest there is out here.
Mm-hmm.
But I was signing up with these other cats.
Oh god damn, the lower
Yeah,
tier 3.
man. And so, you know, oh, I'll say this too. What also propelled me to come out here was that I did extra work for Transformers, the first one, and they shot that in New Mexico. So this is before I even moved to LA. I was an extra in Transformers. So that was my first taste of being on a Hollywood film set. And so, and you know, that's over $100 million budget, Michael Bay. So it's epic. It's not like I'm doing some kind of low budget. I went in hot and was like, yo, I'm seeing explosions. We shooting at you know, fake helicopters because we were the soldiers on the base. And I was like, yo, this shit, I can do this.
Right.
It was fun. I was like, yo, man, Tyrese is right there, Josh Duhamel. And I'm just like, yo, Michael Bay. And, you know, I was a huge fan of like Bad Boys and, you know, Armageddon. I'm just like, oh, I can't believe I'm here in the desert in New Mexico. And so I'm thinking all extra work is gonna be fire like this.
Yeah, it's not.
Nah.
I did extra work one time. I said, what the hell? I got to get my life together. I said, I will never fucking do this again.
Listen, it was. So when I came out here, I was just like, man, this ain't like Transformers, man. This is.
There's no robots.
Man, where the explode? Can we run from explosions? Can we, you know? And so, you know, doing all that extra work, doing all that driving from Orange County to wherever they're filming, and bringing wardrobe myself, I was just like, I was dead inside. And so I was like, man, I don't know how I can get noticed in this sea of actors, people trying to book the same roles. I don't know how to stand out. And so, you know, what resonated with me was that everybody used to say I was funny. You funny all throughout college, you know, you hilarious. I'm hosting shows, I'm hosting talent shows, pageants, MC battles. I'm just hosting it because I was very involved in the Department of Black Programs. So, you know, I was just naturally, you know, funny on stage, but it still wasn't resonating that I was like an actual funny person. Like I could do it for a living. And then, you know, I was at a Common concert in Albuquerque, and it was during his Electric Circus tour. This girl pulls me out the crowd at random, like, "You're hilarious." I'm like, "Who? Me? What? How you even know me?" She's like, "I saw you host that MC battle at New Mexico State. You are hilarious." And I was like, so that stuck, because I was like, man, I must be really funny. And so when I'm out here, low key depressed, trying to make it in this game, I was just like, maybe I should do stand up as a way of exposure so people can notice me in Hollywood. Maybe I should try stand up. Because I was thinking about Robin Williams, Damon Wayans, Jim Carrey, all these comedians that transition into acting. And so I'll try it. Tried it one time at the Ha Ha.
Shout out to
Fell
the
in
high.
love with it. Fell in love with it ever since, man. I went back every day after that.
How was your first set?
The first set was good. It went over well. I got laughs. I was like, you, of course, mad nervous, stomach gonna bubble. You know, I had my little set list. I was like, all right, wedgies. The difference between New Mexico and LA. You know, that was my set list pretty much. And I went up there, and man, you talk about nervous. I went with Tashawn Barrett. You remember
Oh,
him?
yep. I know the
Yep.
shine. Yep.
Because he's my ex-wife's cousin. So he was
Wow,
like,
I never knew that.
he was already doing stand-ups. He was like, yo, come with me to this open mic at the Ha Ha. And I was like, all right. Because I was saying I was going to do it for a good year before I actually did it. And then once I did it, I was like, this is what I was supposed to have been doing the whole time.
This is what I always tell people about you, Tony. This is when I realized, first of all, I remember seeing you early when you came out there at the Union one day. And I was like, oh, this guy's pretty funny. All right. You know, you be in the back, the peanut gallery. I kind of, well, I see something. I see a little bit. Then this is when I knew you was a beast, though. Well, this is when you went to beast mode in my eyes. And I always tell this story. I think I've told you this story too. I was hosting at the Comedy Store in the Belly Room, because, you know, I was hosting Crack 'em Up Thursdays before you was hosting Crack 'em Up Thursday. So this is like maybe 2009 or something. I'm on a little MTV show at the time. You know, I think I'm hot shit. You know, some prank show. I was on one of them prank shows that wasn't punk, you know, all the unsuccessful ones. So I was on every unsuccessful prank show on MTV. Like, can I get on one good one? So I go up. It's one night I go up, and I'm having a tough time. I'm damn near. I'm just basically bombing. I was like, trash crowd. I'm like, this crowd is trash. That's what I'm thinking. You know, punk ass crowd.
Yeah.
I bring you. I'm like, so give it up for Tony Baker. You go on stage and destroy. I'm talking about motherfucker. Oh, this nigga's incredible. And I'm in the back. I'm like, huh. I guess it's just me. I guess I was the problem. It's what the fuck I just found out.
Yo.
That's when I realized how funny you were as a stand-up comedian, bro. So, I mean, like I always say, I tell people, man, rejection is God's protection. And it's funny how the things that happen in your life kind of set you up for where you're ultimately supposed to be going.
Right.
So yeah, man, you are a beast, bro. That's when I was like, Tony Baker's something serious.
Thank you, man. That, you know, I appreciate that, because, you know, as stand-up comedians, you always know any given night you can take an L, and so that's why I don't understand how more comedians aren't super humble, because any given night you can take a smooth L. You can come off 10 straight victories, get that one L, and you be like, God damn, man, I'm losing my touch.
What's the L that stands out to you?
Oh man, the J spot.
I bombed
I,
every night at J Spot. I'm listening.
let me tell you, man. Like I feel like the first time I saw you was at the J Spot.
Bombing, I'm sure.
Actually, you weren't.
Oh, okay.
Actually, you were doing good, and I remember you being there. I think you had a blazer on.
I did have a blazer.
Yeah.
Nigga, that memory is correct. J. Anthony Brown let me do the warm up every day, every night, and he made me wear a blazer just to kind of appeal to his crowd somewhat, or look like I was dressed up.
Yep. You had the blazer on, and you was up there giving 110%, man. You was energy. You was up there like I was like, man, he working it, you know. And that crowd was like, man, you know, they come in there with the energy like we here for J. Anthony Brown. So the fact that you was winning them over on sheer, just like y'all gonna take this, and I was like, man, he got him. Whoo! And I was like, man, and then like you know, because I feel like I went to the J Spot initially to try to get on, but I didn't get on. But I was there the whole night peeping game. And I saw you, I saw J. Anthony Brown go up there and effortlessly kill it. And I was just like, God damn, man, this. And you know, and so then when I finally went back and was able to get on, I think Black Casper was hosting that night.
That sounds right.
Yeah. And I went up there, and you know, I had been doing well at the Ha up until this point. And at this time, I'm like, I want to do more black crowds. That's why I was so hell bent on going to the J Spot and trying to get on, because I've always wanted the black crowd. Like, and since if y'all not familiar with the it's a racially mixed room, primarily Latino, I would say.
I would say so. Yeah.
Latino to white, Armenian, that type of crowd.
I'm about to say it's a lot of Hispanics, Latinx, and Kardashians. It's a lot of Kardashians in there.
That's primarily the audience. So I was birthed in that audience, like you know, performing for them. So I was like, man, I want the black stuff. You know, I want to make sure I'm funny to my people. And so I was like, the J Spot, I'm gonna get in there. And so you know, I went up, Black Casper was hosting, I went up, was doing my material that's always working at the hitting them with a boo, 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 boo. They was just like, huh. Yeah. I can see some people wasn't really invested. They was like, yeah, you know what I'm saying? So it wasn't a complete and utter bomb, but it was an L.
That's what I'm about to say. Here's the thing about you. You, Damon Jr., y'all the two comedians I've never seen take a real L.
Oh, wow.
I've seen you have better sets than others, but I've never seen you like, damn, this Negro bomb. Like, I've never seen that. Like, I have taken L's. Like, niggas not laughing. I done did a goddamn backflip on stage. I done lit myself on fire. And they like, no, bruh. You're doing too much today.
Man, when you do the full act out and get nothing,
woo! I'm gonna tell you the worst act out, nigga. When you do a full act out and lay on the ground, it ends with you landing on the ground and you hear no laughter. Now you gotta pick yourself back up off the ground. Man. You gotta brush yourself off and look around like nothing.
Nothing, huh? Yeah. All right. No applause breaks for the effort.
When do you think you realize your voice was an asset in your stand-up comedy?
You know what? I don't think I ever realized it. Like, I realized that a lot of people imitated my voice. Like, when they would talk to me, they'd be like, hey, it's Tony Baker. And they would do like these impressions of me. And I'd just be like, all right, you know. And
you're like, I don't find this funny.
Yeah, it would be like, I would say that don't really sound like me, or just like, but I recognize the value in sounding unique. So I was like, man, you know, because you think Bill Cosby, you think Richard Pryor, their voice was actually like a brand in itself. It was just like that's Bill Cosby. So I recognize the value in it. So I was like, oh, that's dope that y'all think my voice stands out that way, and I'm easily imitatable. And so I was like, that's pretty dope, man. Like, but I still never saw my voice as like an attraction in that sense, though. I just felt like, for me, I felt like my appeal comedically was my facial expressions and the, I guess my animated delivery, where I could just stand there, and even when I'm standing still, I'm still just like the facial expression, the delivery. I thought that was the appeal more so than my voice.
Yeah,
So
we always loved your voice. I remember seeing you at the comedy store in the main room, and just us like, man, his voice. You know what I'm
okay,
saying? Like, and it was the animation and all of that too. But I remember I was
yeah,
talking to a comedian a long time ago, and he was he wasn't really aware of you. I think he had only really heard you talking. He was like, yeah, he kind of like Corey Holcomb, and I'm like, he's nothing like Corey Holcomb. You know, I think he was just looking at the physical appearance
right.
and the voice, and he
The
was
deep register.
the D register. So I could understand where he was coming from on that end. But I was like, as a comedian, I'm like, y'all two completely different comedians. That's another thing that I was thinking about too. What do you think it is about Chicago that makes such great comedians? Why do you think so many great comedians come out of that city?
You know what, man? I can't even tell you. Like, for me, like, one thing about Chicago is a very blue collar city, a major city in terms of like, you pretty much got everything there except for like, real beaches and like,
Yeah, what the
uh,
fuck? What the fuck do y'all be swimming in? I be seeing these. What is that? A lake?
Lake Michigan.
Oh,
Lake Michigan, yeah, it'd
okay.
be like so, but that's not really the beach.
Oh, I
It's
know.
our
Cause I'm.
little like, yeah, we at Lake Michigan, but it's like it ain't the ocean. So, but it's huge. But it's like, it's Lake Michigan. But so within that, Chicago is very like gritty in a sense. Like so within all of that, that it's always been gang heavy, crime heavy, blue collar. And so within all of that, you have to laugh at life, or else it's just gonna be, man, this shit sucks. So it's like, so we all kind of had like a sense of humor with a southern drawl a little bit, because a lot of people from the South went up north to get those jobs, and so we come in with that kind of gritty. I worked 18 hours a day, and I'm just let loose. I was working at the beer factory. I was over there old style, and I was just letting loose tonight. And so we come from that, and like, even my family just being silly, playing games, playing spades or whatever. And me being the youngest of three boys, I'm always trying to make my older brothers laugh, and they giving me nothing.
Oh.
They giving me, I'm trying to chime in on them and their friends' jokes. And I'm like, yeah. And they was just like, man,
They
you
giving you
little brother. But
that
anyway,
J spot energy.
give you nothing. So when I go to school, when I go in my environment, I don't even think I'm funny because they wasn't laughing at home. But
Oh.
meanwhile, they laughing, and it don't even say like, man, y'all, my brothers don't be laughing, and so I don't even see that they're laughing and having a good time. So for me personally, on the Chicago tip, we were just naturally like finding jokes within the real life. Like, man, I got jumped last night by some vice lords, and we make fun of that, or like, so it just all came from that, just to stay sane, I guess.
Dope. So I want to get into like the voiceover since we was talking about your voice.
Mm-hmm.
How did you come up with that? You know, what was the inspiration for you to do your first voiceover? And do you remember what the first voiceover video was that you did?
Yeah, I did it just on the fly, man. Somebody sent me a video of this goat in Brazil just harassing the shit out of these people. And this was like 2013. And this, yo, yo, this dude, and he was one of those goats that didn't have the horns. He was just like, he was out here, he had a bell on his neck, and he started out harassing these people on a motorcycle. And he was just like, yo, man, they tried to drive off a little bit, and then he kind of rammed the motorcycle. And he was just like, hey, man. And then same goat, this lady walking past with groceries, he harassing her. And she tried to wave him off. He knocks her down. He gives her the full cram, knocks her down. This dude tries to come save her, And he's like, oh, you Captain Save-A-Ho out here. So he chasing him down. They just having a full chase. I was like, yo, this goat is wild. Let me be him. And so I did that and just put it up on my little YouTube page. And at the time, my YouTube page had like 200 subscribers or whatever. And I just put that up on my YouTube page. But it did like little numbers at the time. I was like, man, you know what I'm saying? This could be a little something that pops on YouTube. And I did another one shortly after that of Raccoon eating out of the cat food dish. So he was in the garage. And there was a bunch of cats, and he just came in. He was like, yeah, he started eating out the cat food, and the cats are around him like, yo, whose man's is this? And so he like, y'all gonna be doing this? And he was dipping the cat food in the water, and he was just eating it. I mean, it looked like he was just having a conversation with these cats, like, yo, y'all need to get in on this, man. And then the cats was kind of jumping at him. He's like, hey, man. And so once he saw the people recording, he dipped. And then he comes back for one last scoop, and then he runs off. And then, and I was like, y'all be good, praise God, man. And so those were the first two that I did ever. And so I was just
and how did that Raccoon one do when it came to views? Did that one do decent too?
When I first posted it nothing resonated really. It was just like, oh, I did. But I just saw the potential in those type of videos because they did get a little bit of attention, but it wasn't like crazy. It was just pretty much on my YouTube. And I don't even think I put them on Instagram because I took that idea to Marlon Wayans at What the Funny.
Gotcha.
I was like, yo, I could do like a voiceover show for the network, for the platform. And he's like, yeah, man, that's a great idea. Take those videos you got on YouTube, take those off, and we'll just do a show like that here at What the Funny. So I was like, cool. So we were getting the ball rolling on that. And then What the Funny, fell through for whatever reason. So it was just, so I just had them. And so I reposted them on my Instagram.
What year is this?
This was like, I reposted in like 2014, and then nothing really, and my follower count was way lower then, of course. And then I reposted again because people kept saying, yo, repost that Raccoon video, repost it. I remember Nick Carthan was like, yo, repost that Raccoon video. I love it. I was like, all right. So in 2015, I reposted it again. And that's when that one went viral. That one, it got into the hands, I guess, the right people that reposted it. I remember Spice Adams reposted it on his Facebook, and that one blew up on Facebook. And then somebody reposted it, put their name on it on Instagram, and then it blew up on Instagram as well. And I was
Who put that name on it? It was a nigga. I already know.
It was some account. It was like it wasn't named after a particular person, but a particular page. But I don't even remember the name of the page. They just put their little watermark on the bottom. Because I didn't know nothing about watermarking or none of that. And so once that happened and I saw the number, I was like, I gotta just start doing these and putting them on social media. And at that time when it blew up, I had probably about 80,000 followers, or maybe like 70 to 80,000. Because I was getting followers on the strength of the sketches I was doing, like Travis Santiago and like Benedict Crimwood. So I was getting a following.
And those were what the sketches you were doing on YouTube?
No, those were just purely for the gram.
Oh, that's right. Okay, got yeah. That's when Instagram opened up for you to do like at least like minute long sketches.
This was still 15 seconds.
Gotcha.
And it was 15 seconds, and so I was doing, because initially Travis was like 15 seconds, and because I would go link up with Jahan Jones, and, and then they would shoot the videos they were shooting, and I'd be on the side like, all right, I want to do this villain, and so I started doing those, and then that's when my following was growing, and then once I started doing the voiceovers on a regular basis. And I started putting my name on them at the bottom because, I didn't want people to snatch them again and put their name on it. That's when my numbers started to climb at a consistent basis.
How often did you start putting those out?
I was doing, anybody that follows me knows I post a lot. like
Yeah,
on
but we
any
love your
given day.
post.
Man, it'd be a lot because you know how I work comedically, Justin. It's like I write on stage. Like when I have a premise, I'll be like, yeah, I want to talk about this on stage. And since I write in here, I have to get on stage and say it immediately. I'm the same way with how I post. Like I don't do I'm gonna just post it. You know, I'll be like, I see the video, I look at it, the idea comes to me right then and there. I have to record it and I have to put it out. And
Gotcha.
so there's no rhyme or reason to, you know, how often I post or when. It's just like I see it, people send it to me. I like this. I see it, I record it, I throw it out. And then
Now here's my thing with doing these videos. They take time, right?
yeah. Mm-hmm.
What were you doing when it come when you was at the point when you was doing these Instagram videos, the 15 seconds, you
Right.
know, leading up to the voiceover? Did you have a day job at this time? Like how was you making income to and then also allow you to be on your phone basically to do this?
Really like so this was in 2012, I got divorced. So I was purely living on, you know, I had a roommate, Chaz, so we were splitting the rent.
Shout out
But I
to
was
Chaz
purely
Rogers.
Chaz Rogers, shout out to Chaz. So I was purely living on stand up at this time. Like I was
In
just
2012.
in 2012.
That's
I
big.
was I was scrambling, you know, every gig. Like, yes, I'll take it. I'll take it. Thank God the Laugh Factory was booking me on the regular. So between the Laugh Factory, the Comedy Store, just the comedy club, the Comedy and Magic Club. I'm just doing every club. I'm like, oh, thank God. Simultaneously, you know, booking road gigs here and there. I remember doing the San Francisco Comedy Festival, which is I did that for like, and that took 3 weeks to get through everything. I won that, dog. I needed every penny of that money. It was like, so I was really just hustling on pure stand up and, you know, working with ADD. ADD pulled up, like Kev on stage reached out and was like, yo, they pulled me in to do like a sketch here and there. And then I was doing 2-minute drills. So it was just like,
And what year was that with because I was gonna ask you when did you link up with Kev on stage? So was that different than ADD? Those are two different things, situations that happened, or is that one situation that happened, ADD and Kev on stage?
actually, it was, first of all, I met Kev on stage at Nate Jackson's room up in Tacoma. He had booked, and that's another thing that was keeping me afloat. Like Nate Jackson booking me on occasion, and like, you know, the occasional road gig, the occasional, uh, you know, college gig. It was just like I'm just scrambling, doing festivals and comedy competitions. And so I meet Kev on stage out there. I see him perform. I was like, yo, this dude is funny, man. And so, and then once he moved out to LA to work with ADD, he reached out to me and was like, yo, I want to do a Dr. Reasons episode based on your clown joke. And I was like, all right, let's do it.
And the
And
Dr. Reasons is the spoken reasons.
yes,
Yeah.
that was one of the first shows that, oh, okay, yes, real
Hey.
comedians, man. That was one of the first shows that All Def Digital had was Dr. Reasons. And so they pulled me into that. And I was like, yo, this was cool. And so they kept bringing me in after that. And Kev was the one that reached out because he really liked the clown joke. And so once I started, you know, going up there, meeting everybody, working with them, they kept bringing me in to do various sketches. And then, so that, I want to say that was like, it might have been 2015,
Mm-hmm.
maybe. I think it was 2015. Uh, maybe 2014, 2014, 2015. I can't remember the exact year, but I feel like it was around then. And so all of these little things like help keep me afloat financially. So and then you know, I had the time to, you know, link up and shoot videos and make the videos too, because I was primarily working at night doing comedy shows. So my
Gotcha.
time was open. And then
Hey, I'm
no,
listening.
go ahead.
I was gonna say with Kev on stage, how big was he already on social media when he reached out to you? Because I wasn't aware of Kev on stage until you all started touring, but that's just me. I live in my own world and I be
Right.
off doing stuff.
Right.
So it wasn't until I saw you touring with him and
Mm.
outside looking in, I was like, wait a minute, Tony's not headlining, because I just know how funny you are. So for
Right.
me, it was odd to see you
Mm.
going before this guy, because I didn't know who he was at the time.
Right. Right.
Where was he at? Was he already big on social media? And what made you say, okay, I'm going to go on tour with him, with Tahir?
Right. Well, with Kev had a big YouTube following. Like, I think he had like, you know, I'm not sure what his following is now on YouTube, but it was in the hundreds of thousands of subscribers. So he already built like a solid following on his YouTube, and that's what really primarily got him the gig at All Deaf, because he built a platform with his videos. He had videos with his kids, and so they were like, "Yo, Kev," and then that's why they brought him to All Deaf. So he already had that following and that base on his YouTube and his Facebook. So he was already popping on those. So he constructed the whole tour and and I knew him as a comedian first. That was my introduction to Kev, was hearing him on stage at Nate's room. I was like, this dude's funny. And then I found out, oh, he does videos on social media too. Cool, that's dope. And so when we were working together at All Deaf, and it was just like, once he decided to put the tour together, he built it from scratch. He booked his own venues. He did all the work himself. It was just
Nice.
like, and I want you to be a part of it. I was just like, yeah, let's do it. Like, because I've never been on tour. It was just like, nobody has ever reached out for me on tour, and I didn't have the confidence or the
You want to know why nobody reached out to you? I'm sure you already know this, right? I'm sure you know. I'm gonna tell you. They're threatening of you. That could literally be, there's no way you could be as funny as you are and nobody reach out to you. So I'm telling you, if you never heard it, the reason why none of the bigger names reached out to you, because they have to be afraid that you're gonna out funny them, which you most likely would do 9 times out of 10. I'm sure of it. Because
That's crazy,
that's just
man.
surprising, which speaks highly of Kev on stage. So that shows how secure he is,
Yes.
and how good of a person he is to even reach out to you, knowing how funny you are.
Oh, that was, man. Kev is egoless, man. Like, he is a true team player. He's egoless, no ego, and it was just like, yo, that was so refreshing to work with on my first tour. I was like, yo, Kev is great, man. He's a great friend, So it was just like, man, this is dope, and it just showed you how secure he was with his fan base and with his actual, stand up. And so I was like, man, that's dope. Because I never, some people have said to me what you just said, like they just threatened to bring you on the road, and like, and I would say this, I never really reached out as well. So it wasn't like I was actively like, yo, put me on, let me do some shows with you. I wasn't really reaching out like that. So that's my fault on that end. And so
Yeah, but you know
like
what?
Russell,
But my experience, they'll reach out to you. So like when
yeah.
Afion took me on the road, he reached out to me. You see what I'm saying? Like when Chris Tucker took London Brown on the road, Chris Tucker reached out to London. You know
Yeah,
what I'm saying?
they
So
do reach out.
they reach out. Them motherfuckers saw what you was doing out there in these streets.
And I want to give a shout out to the guys that did bring me on the road, for just like Russell Peters and Esau McGraw would, like, bring me out with him, and like I remember Donnell Rawlings reached out, and so I want to give a shout out to those that did reach out, and like Tony Rock.
Okay.
Did, like, reach out and be like, yo, man, come do this road gig with me. And Ruben Paul, especially, man. Ruben Paul, he's like my mentor in comedy, and he would take me on the road with him. So I want to give him all the shout outs in the
Okay.
world.
Well, that's good.
They took me, yeah.
So with ADD, I was interested on like the structure of ADD. Like, here's 2 things. One was Russell Simmons, when he first started ADD, he reached out to me too. Because that's when I was still had a presence on YouTube like that, and I was doing sketches, and this was at the very infinite stages of ADD. The reason why I didn't go over to ADD at the time was because I knew they was gonna have ownership of my content. And I was like, well, I'm already doing decent on YouTube by myself whenever I feel like putting up, because I was putting up YouTubes whenever I felt like it. It wasn't like a real consistent thing. It was like, all right, I'm gonna make fun of like the BET hip hop cipher, and then I'll post that.
Right.
When it comes to y'all and y'all content, do y'all have any ownership of the material? Yeah, look at that. Do y'all have any ownership of the material, or is it like they pay y'all a cut for using ideas that y'all came up with?
For me, I can't speak on the characters they created, but like for me, they brought my characters in, so it was like that Abernathy Nevers right there, or like even when they use like my joke premise or like Travis or whatever. So I kept full ownership of my characters. I can't really vouch, for anybody else's setup.
Everybody else at 80 like, man, fuck that nigga, man. They're taking all my shit. I don't own nothing around there.
Right. Yeah, I came to the table with those characters already established, and they were just like, yo, can we bring the character in? I'm like, yeah. And so for me, I never dealt with that really. Like, and the only running show that I had on ADD initially was 2 Minute Drill. And that was a concept they came up with. And it was just me being myself talking about sports. And so, but that was their show idea. And man, when I tell you that show kept me afloat financially too, it was right on time, man. I was like, and they were, and the numbers were pretty low for 2 Minute Drill. They were, compared to all the other content they were putting out, the 2 Minute Drill numbers were average. So they were trying to get rid of it. But Kev was like, "No, man, we need the 2 Minute Drill in here." I was like, "Man, thank you for keeping me around as long as you could," because that money came in handy, bro. Because it was a weekly thing.
Oh, but that's what. Well, I had Spoken Reasons on, and he was he was talking about ADD.
Yeah,
But
he got a totally different, dynamic with them. I was just like, that wasn't my. Granted, they paid him a lot more than they paid, me, because I'm sure he came in with, I'm sure they paid him a lot of money initially.
Well, I don't know. I don't think he paid what he felt like he was worth for what he was bringing to the table.
Right.
But I'm sure they
if you
did.
compare this check to mine.
Yeah, like they paying you shit.
Yeah.
Who comes up with the ideas of it? Because I didn't know how much of is Patrick involved when it comes to, like, who's the main person or that really comes up with the different segments on ADD?
Actually, like at the time, and this I'm talking like before, because all they did was shut down and then rebranded. This is before the initial shutdown.
This when Russell Simmons escaped the Bali.
Yeah,
Right.
Once he did the hell out, and then was like, all right, yeah, ADD is done. This is before that. This is in the prime.
This nigga Russell Simmons got into a meditation pose and blinked, and this nigga was out of the country.
When I tell you he was Doctor Strange on that ass, he was like, I'm out. He did a little circle and stepped in it. He was out of here. He did the. Yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and step on out the country.
Legs wrapped around his neck. Out of here.
Out of here. Barefoot.
Get all the nigga that might suck his own dick. All right, I'm listening. Go for it. Shout out to Russell Simmons, man. I mean, I don't know if I should give, but for what he done for the culture.
Oh yeah.
And creating the platform ADD.
He looked out for me, absolutely, man. It's tough, but
anyway,
initially, it was kind of like a think tank in terms of like what they were creating. Like, Pat, Doughboy, Kev, they were all coming up with sketches and ideas and shows for the network. And so they would come up with the premise, they would pitch it to all of them, they'd be like, yeah, let's shoot that, and then they would bring in the talent. So Case in point, one of my favorite ones is the Wise Custodian, where I played the
That's
janitor
funny.
that used to
That
be
was
saying
funny.
all this super deep stuff, and they like, what the hell is he talking about? That Pat wrote that, and so you would have all these different writers that came up with the premises, and they would write it out. Doughboy did the emotional homicide detectives, and also the ratchet detective. Like Doughboy wrote those, so
Wow.
yeah, so it was just like a group of creatives that would come up with the premises and write the sketches, and then they would shoot it from there, and then they would bring in the talent to be in it.
How how did the rebranding of ADD happen? Because I know it shut down. I didn't know if it was over, and then I saw that Ti kind of got involved. So how did all that happen to get ADD back up on his feet?
I'm not sure about the intricate details of it, but I do know Ti came in and was like, "Yo, let me put the money up and get in on this as well. We can get this going again, and just to have that platform out there for pretty much black talent and black comedy. And that's pretty much all I know as far as the details. I'm sure it's more intricate than that, but I do know once Ti came in, it was like the rebirth of all death, and then you combine that with COVID hitting and really hating on everything. I'm sure it was hard for them to truly get the ball fully rolling on the type of content they could be putting out and creating. Because like when they when they shut down initially on the Rust thing, we were in the middle of shooting Working Wild.
I like
Working
those
Wild,
episodes. Yeah.
yeah. We were in the middle of shooting. We were supposed to shoot 8 episodes of this, and we had shot 5. And they were like, "We gotta shut everything down, man." It was just like everybody was caught off guard. It was just like, man, dog, we gotta shut everything down. And so that was tough because we still had more episodes to shoot. We were excited. It was dope. It was going well, and then
But y'all back to filming, right? Y'all started back filming segments, or y'all do
well,
everything virtually?
yeah, it's pretty much a virtual thing. And then the Working Wild that finally got released, we had shot all that, in last summer. But that was like 2019. We shot that in the summer of 2019. Working Wild didn't get released to the people until like last month or a couple months ago. So
Mm-hmm.
we had to wait on that and stuff like that. So how they're filming stuff now, we've been doing like the quarantine games and like, squad casts, but it's just hard to film anything, because of the pandemic.
Hey, so when it comes to social media, here's always been my thing about social media.
Mhm.
When it comes to how often I'm putting out content, and has there ever been a fear that you're putting out content that may not be as great for the sake of consistency? Or do you
I
feel like
always
everything you put out is solid?
no, I definitely be like, man, this is. And usually, like the stuff where I'll be like, this people, it does numbers. I'll be like, this, and the stuff I'm super excited about, they be doing okay, and I'm like, man, I don't get it. Like, I still haven't. As much content as I put out, I still haven't mastered what will do numbers.
Right. Well,
And
none of my shit do numbers. So I mean,
man, I don't think anybody has truly cracked the code of what's gonna truly do great numbers. Yeah, you can always win with ass and titty comedy. Like you put a fine chick in there, you're gonna get the clicks just on the strength of ass and titties.
right.
That's an easy win. But beyond that, when you wanna do something else and like you believe, man, this is gonna hit right here. This and
This the
then
one.
this is the one right here. And they'd be like, all right. And then the one you kind of be like, it's all right. I could have worked on that a little bit harder. The numbers are up there.
And there's no rhyme or reason, no type of way to explain it.
Man, it's like, and for me, I put out so much. Here's what I noticed about my own algorithms and my own patterns on how people view my stuff. They want the voiceover. That's first and foremost. They want the voiceovers. When I do an actual sketch, when I repost a sketch, they do well. But when it's just me talking to the camera or me just saying, it's a totally different contrast to when I put up a voiceover. So people, they want that, whether it be animal, whether it be somebody tripping and falling, whether it be babies talking, whatever, they want that voiceover. And so when I give them that, and I don't go into politics and I don't go into social issues, you know, the black folks is with me. They like, yes, keep talking that shit.
Right.
But the people from the outside that just came in for the animals, they don't want to hear, you know, the realness.
Well, yeah, because I was gonna say probably a lot of that fan base isn't African American either.
Right. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so they don't want to hear that shit.
Take the comedy, and I'll be
Right.
like, all right. And so that's why I took the comedy off my name.
Straight up.
Yeah. So.
How do you feel when people tell you that? Because I see you do like these posts sometimes when people tell you to just stick to comedy and just tell jokes and do your animal videos. Like, how does that make you feel? And do you feel like it's your job to kind of, I don't know, educate people or sway people over to like, no, these are the facts, or, you know, just,
right.
You know, what's your thinking on that?
Well, first of all, you know, I get triggered by it, you know, depending on the source. Like, you know, that dance for me, boy, resonates. Like, dance for me, boy, that's what it sounds like when they say stick to comedy, stick to voiceovers. When I'm talking about real shit, like when I'm talking about, you know, being hurt over somebody being murdered by the cops or racial inequality, that personally hits home with me as a black human being. So when I'm speaking from that space and you come in with the just make me laugh, that's shut up and dribble, dance with me, boy. That's the immediate go-to reaction. Well, okay. With me being me, I'm gonna challenge that every time. It's like, oh, you want me to sing? I'm gonna call you out. I'm gonna put you on the grill. I'm gonna call out the people that have that mindset to make them look stupid. I'm gonna embarrass you. I'm gonna, you know, sick my followers on you. I will do all of that, you know, because I honestly feel like, you know, I'm coming from a place of, you know, I don't harbor racism, like, you know, racism. And, you know, they say black folks can't be racist, but you know what I mean? Black folks can damn sure be bigoted and racially prejudiced. I don't come from that vantage point. I feel like, you know, we can all coexist, but in order for us to do that, we have to acknowledge the inequalities, the racial injustice, the privileges, and the stained history of America. We have to address it, truly talk about it, and own it. You know what I mean? And so until we have those real conversations, we can't truly come together until we have those conversations. And I don't want to hear that. I'm colorblind. I hate when people say that. Like,
yeah, that really pisses me off.
Yeah, see colors. See colors. See the diversity in it. There's nothing wrong with that. Like,
we're all the same, Tony Baker. Fuck you, man. Right. I don't see nothing.
I hate that, man. Yeah. We're not the same.
Yeah.
Like, we're all human beings, but it's okay to acknowledge the different tones
and celebrate our differences.
Yeah. That to me is more important. When they say, I don't see color, see the color. See that. See that when I approach you, I could be coming from the African-American perspective in America and accept it. Just like if I see a person from Bangladesh, I'm like, yo, you from Bangladesh? Now open to your culture, your environment, where you came up. That's interesting. That's like, yo, let's compare cultures. Let's talk about, tell me what it was like growing up where you were. And like, there's beauty in that. I don't want to be all the same. That's just boring. And so when people come at me like that on social media, I'm always going to challenge it. I'm always going to stick to voiceovers. Oh, stick to voiceovers? I ain't posting another voiceover for 1 week. Just because and I'll tell people, unfollow me. Please unfollow me if any of the stuff I post on the social tip bothers you.
You know what I love what you did, and you stuck to it too. Mm-hmm. When Nipsey passed, rest in peace to the legend. Mm-hmm. You posted his keys.
Yeah, every day for a year.
Every day for it. I said he's really posting this every day. Did you ever miss a day?
I might have let 24-hour period slip, into like maybe a 27-hour period or like a, but I consciously tried to get it every single day.
Man, that was amazing.
Yeah.
And I'm glad you did that. And why did you feel the importance of doing that?
Because for me, Nipsey Hussle, the thing I liked about Nipsey Hussle was that he didn't just rap just to be rapping words together. Like he had intention behind everything he was saying. There was gravity to it. There was weight to it. I listen to Crenshaw all the time.
Classic.
So yeah, and he was actually talking about important stuff in his raps, whether it be his own upbringing. He wasn't just rapping words together just to do it. And I was just like, yo, this dude right here. And we just watched this transition from the son of immigrant parents to, you know, that immigrant hustle mentality of making it on the independent tip by working hard and being an entrepreneur. And then the gang life mixed in. And then coming out of that with the gang life, not shying away from his gang past, but also empowering that into his own business and entrepreneurship and giving back to his community and like growing as a businessman and as a person. I feel like, yo, this dude was really special beyond rap. He just really connected with the people and what we were trying to strive for. And it was just bigger than that. And so it was like, I don't want him to be just oh man, we sad for Nipsey this week.
Right.
And then we forget about, you know, what he was trying to convey through music and through what he was saying in interviews and stuff. It was just like, I want people to remember him, you know, at least when you come to my page, like, man, every day. So now you're thinking about Nipsey Hussle every day and you're looking at that list he had. And it was just like this.
What was the title of that again? In case somebody wanted to look it up, the title I should have we had us pull that up. You remember the title of it, of that?
I forget the title too.
We'll look it up. Look that up, Lee. You ain't doing nothing over there. He over there sitting over there behind his desk with lotion and tissue around here.
Tissue? Yo.
Waiting for something to pop off. It was like, I love the sound of Tony Baker's voice. so, hey, when you did your voiceovers,
mm-hmm.
When did you start seeing the uptick in celebrities following you? And what celebrity that started following you that you're like, damn, I can't believe this person is following me and it's a fan of my comedy?
That question is easy. The Rock.
Crazy.
The Rock, because The Rock is pretty much the biggest guy on the planet right now in terms of box office. He's the highest paid actor, probably like the last couple years almost. And, you know, you look at his following, he's got like 190 million people following him. So it's just like he is one of the most followed people on social media in the world. So it's just like, damn, this dude? And so it's like, and I don't know how he found me. I assume it was London, just because, you know, London works on Ballers. Maybe he's seen me from London. But London, I don't think London has ever posted me, but I just don't know how he found me.
Well, I mean, so many people share your content, though.
Yeah.
I mean, it could have came from anywhere.
Yeah, and at that time, I saw him in my comment section. And a lot of people point out stuff to me that I don't even see. It's like, yo, The Rock was in your comment section. I was like, what? And so I looked and he followed me. I was just like, how this happened? And so
I'd be like, yeah, what's up with that movie role though?
Yeah, you know, and you know me, man. I don't be speaking. I just be like, you know.
Hey, what do you feel like somebody should reach out to you by this point to do TV films or?
For me, like, so some people have, and some people like, you know, the word of mouth is crazy because it's just a chain reaction. Like Octavia Spencer follows me. She reposts my stuff all the time. So that brings in more celebrity eyeballs. Like Kristen Bell started following me from Octavia Spencer, and then she ended up reaching out. Let's see what we can work on. You know, Aquaman, Jason Momoa, he reaches out. So it's just like you know, these people that are, you know, big, just like reaching out and I'm having conversations with them and just like seeing like, you know, Ludacris and like, you know, Anthony Anderson and like, it's just like, wow, this, and you know, some of them do, there we
There
go,
we
7
go.
Money and Ownership Lessons by Nipsey Hussle.
That's it. That's it.
And
Yeah,
that's what
y'all,
I posted every single day for a year since his passing. And then I just wanted to keep that going because his business model inspired me to just like believe in my own worth in terms of like, you know, just take it to the streets and like, you know, the people will come. And like, you know, when he was doing his Crenshaw and he was selling it for $100.
right.
Then he came out with the Milk Money joint, sold that for $1,000. It's crazy for us to think, man, who's paying for that? And people did.
Genuine fans. Man, that's what I
Yeah.
was gonna ask you about, man. Cause see, I think I got about 19 genuine fans. Like
19?
that's about it, brother.
Yeah.
And I seen you do it. Did you posted a tweet yesterday or the day before yesterday, and you said you have so many people rooting for you,
Yeah.
which is true.
Mm-hmm.
I felt like people have been rooting for you since you started doing stand up. You know, ever since you came on the scene, I felt like you was the likable guy that everybody wanted to win, right?
Yeah.
How does that feel? Because I come from a perspective, or
Mm-hmm.
or I'm on the other opposite side of the fence where I feel like no one really roots for me to win. I
Okay.
think I consistently work, and
Uh-huh.
people like Justin is working.
Mm-hmm.
So in return, I never feel like anyone's ever actually rooting for me. So,
Gotcha.
so
So you feel like you always have to prove it every time?
not even prove it. I think people just kind of look at me as like, yeah, like Justin's on TV. You know what I'm saying? Or yeah, Justin
Okay.
headliner. Yeah, Justin is rapping now. It's like it's almost like okay, it's almost like I feel like me being able to do different things becomes the
Mm-hmm.
norm, or me working consistently becomes the norm. And so
Right.
nobody really pushes me to win because they already like, well, in their eyes, they feel like I'm
Already.
already winning.
Yeah. Yeah. Um, for me, like, and I got some notes for you too if you want to take them
Oh, I do. Sam.
because with you from a social media standpoint, you're on a hit CBS TV show, what, 4 or 5 seasons in?
Yeah, we're going on our fifth season.
Fifth
MacGyver.
season. So, you know, to the outside eye, it's just like, oh, this dude's killing. He's got a TV show. Cool, man. He out here. And like, also, I don't know how many black folks watch MacGyver.
About 12.
Yeah. So, you know, in our social media circle, and I consider us in the same circle, black social media is a different thing. It's a different world, kind of, sort of. It's like a different universe. So, you know, when you look on social media and you look at our timelines, if I'm pretty sure me and you have the same timeline that we scroll through. We see sports related, we see social injustice, we see Breonna Taylor, we see LeBron James, we
Right.
see love and hip hop, we see power memes, we see the things that are rooted in the black culture. MacGyver, though, hasn't it resonates with white audiences and CBS, and you know CBS is not black central. You know, they're trying to get the ball rolling with the neighborhood, and like, you know.
I'm aware.
Yeah, so
you
it's
see,
like,
you see, my show Rush Hour got canceled during the commercial break. So you know,
man, you know, and it's like they be trying to put their foot in the black waters with like Rush Hour, and like, you know, thank God the neighborhood hit. So we're
thank
like, all
God.
right, cool. So we can bring more. And the Gina Yashere show is, you know, they renewed that, right?
Right.
So we slowly getting into that space where, you know, black folks are showing up to CBS. It's the most watched network, but not necessarily by us.
Right.
And so when we see your MacGyver posts, it's like, oh, he already winning. He doing his thing. It's like, but we still don't know who Justin Hires is. You've always been very guarded with who you are as a person. Like, you protect your family as you should. You protect your your wife, your baby girl. You shield all of that, and you kind of don't really even go into it. And so we just like, all right, he's an actor and he's a rapper, but we don't really know who Justin is.
Hey man, let me tell you how I know you're right. You got to be the third or fourth person that has told me that. So now it's at a point where if everybody's saying it, it must be true.
Yeah, because we don't know who you are.
And I'm gonna tell you why I do that is because I know at some point, and maybe to my own detriment, it may never come if I keep going this route, but I know there's going to be a point where I'm not going to be able to shield my family from the Hollywood lights. My wife don't want to be on camera like that. And then I have a daughter and I don't want her to be looking for likes. You know, I don't want people, I don't know if somebody go say something reckless about my daughter in the comment section. Now I done lost my career because I done shot up somebody's car. You see what I'm saying? Yeah. So those are all the reasons why I'm like, but I do talk about my family in my stand-up, but in my social media, but everybody ain't seen my stand-up. You know, way more people see my social media than my stand-up. But you, DeMar Randy, Shantae Waynes, y'all have all said the same thing, like publicly, like, people don't know who you are because it seemed like you're just promo.
That's it.
All right.
Yeah. And so you got to give us, you've got to give us more Justin hires as opposed to the promo. And like, cause I'll tell you right now, when I promo on my social media page, them numbers be minuscule. When I post a flyer or when I post a promo, we don't want to see the promo. People, I have to promo. That has to be done. But numbers wise, people just don't care. They just be like, all right, flyer that's not even in my city. Die. They keep give us the content. So yeah, man. And so with you, it's like we live in an age where people want to feel like they know you. Like even if you never really show the fam, and your reasons why I totally get 100%. But if we can get to know who you are, it's like it draws us to you. It's like, because what I've noticed, like with the big social media followings, with like people with big numbers, like even Kev, we feel like we know Kev. We feel like even Kevin Hart, we feel like we know him. We see him with his kids, his friends. We see him interacting with, like, you know, his dog, his wife. Is like, we see him interacting. We like, man, Kev. Like, we feel like we know him. And Kev on stage, we feel like we know him because he brings us into that world of, you know. And even with me, you know, people feel like they know me, they know Sabrina, they know the cats, they know my sons. It's just like, and they know how I feel about, you know, they know I'm a vegetarian. They know I don't like this. They know I hate this and that. So it brings us together, and like, so now people feel like they're in on the inside jokes of me and Tony. Like, yeah, we know he don't like this and that. We know, and when people feel like they're included in the brand, that makes them more loyal and more responsive and more like, yeah, you know, we feel like family more than just, you know, people that are just looking at promo ads. They feel like they become a part of it. Yes.
Well, the funny thing is my daughter been saying she wants to be on social media. My daughter's a female version of me.
Oh, wow. Okay.
People don't even know this, but because she don't like to act on the spot when she feel like people are watching. But at the same time, she do like, let me hop in your video. But I'm like, no, because I'm trying to shield her. Get your ass out of the way. She's like, come on, daddy. I'm trying to be a star. I'm like, get your ass. So I made her an Instagram page because I've only posted her one time, but I only posted it because you couldn't see her face. You know, she was doing a magic trick and she like ran off real quick. And it was the worst magic trick you've ever seen in your life. But that was the joke and the comedy of it. But yeah, I mean, I'm gonna take that in, man. I'm gonna receive that because, you know, I'm one of them people, man. I feel like wisdom can come from anywhere. And I'm always one of those people like, how can I improve myself? And I'm also always like, I wonder what people perception is of me, because I know what my perception is of me, but I never really know until somebody tell you, like, motherfucker, we don't know you.
Exactly.
You know?
Like initially with you, like on stage, like your material, you would talk about your career a lot. You would talk
Right.
about, you know, your movie roles and getting overlooked by people because you was on this and that. But for me, like when you started like going into your life and like, you know, you had that bit about how you compare racism to like dog ownership.
Right.
And so that's when I was like, yes,
Yeah.
this. Because, you know, people don't necessarily care about the career side as much. Like if you just went up there and talked about movie roles and TV, a lot of people can't connect. They can't really, you know, connect with that. Especially you in Middle America. We
What the
can't
fuck
really,
is a SAG
yeah,
card?
yeah. So we don't care. We just want, and so once you start tapping into your personal, like who you are, then that's when things will really start to change for you. I feel, because then because like for me, Justin, I've known you for years now. I don't know what your baby girl look like, man. And I know you personally, though. Like that's how
guarded, right?
that's how safeguarded you are. Like I if I ran into your wife at Sprouts, I met her one time, I wouldn't even know. I wouldn't even be like, it was Justin's wife. It's like that's how close to the vest you keep everything. And
Man, I just
so
wear this ring to get bitches, man. I don't actually have a wife.
so I was just like, man, he ain't really married. What dog?
Right? This shit is all an act, man.
Yeah.
This shit look good when I'm talking to these studio execs. Like, listen, man, I got a family, I got a daughter. They're like, where is she? I'm like, hey, I'll be right back. You know?
Yeah. And so with that, because I feel like with us as comedians, especially comedians that are, you know, even though you're successful on a TV show, I know you still want the comedian success of just
Right.
like, you know, being a huge comedian. And so that comes with, you know, we got to be a little bit more open in terms of not necessarily sharing your family, but just like open in terms of your perspective, your thoughts on things, you know, your humanity. Because a lot of times the biggest comedians, it's that human element that brings us into them. Like, man, you know, Chris Rock be up there talking about racism in America, but it's a human element to that we just like, yeah, and we can relate. So we just like, man, Chris Rock, Dave Chappelle, you know, so they brought us in. Dave Chappelle talking about his family and like, you know, even though he keeps his wife protected, we still get a sense of, we know he lives on a farm in Ohio. We
And
know.
he'll show her every blue moon she'll pop up.
Yeah,
Yeah.
just give us a little inkling of that. And I feel like once you start doing that, more so on your social media, then people will start to gravitate more towards like what you got going on, your thoughts, your perspectives, your life. Like when you posted about your house, I mean your office building, you bought
a house.
That was like, yes, this. You know,
that shit did get a lot of views too.
It did?
Yeah.
See, that's why, you know, and people connected to that. We get, oh, Justin out here doing it. We get inspired in real estate. And then, you know, it's so much that goes into that we be like, yeah. And then that's when I feel like things will start to change for you once you give us you.
Right. Man, I'm glad I did this, man, because I was about to kill myself right before this call. No, I'm joking. I was just about to go to the Hollywood stand. I was going to fly to LA, climb to the top, skydive. No, but I'm glad you told me that, man, because like I said, I'm one of them people. I'm like, I am a true believer. If everybody said it, it got to be some truth to it. Because at first, the first time somebody said, I'm like, nigga, you just trying to be nosy. And then somebody else said, I'm like, bitch, you trying to be nosy too. And then when I hear you say, I'm like, all right, everybody ain't just trying to be nosy. It must be some validity to what they're saying and what they want to see from me. So
that's what brings the people in. And then also I want to say this too, and this is to anybody listening too, like I don't have the luxury of just posting because, you know, when you're a huge celebrity and you already have like millions of followers just on the strength of a TV show or movie career, you don't have to post the same as like someone like me that's trying to build a big following or trying to get a fan base, I have to post differently. I can't just post a picture of me sitting at the beach, profile, black and white shot. I need to give you content. I need to give you something that draws you into me first, since I don't have a Game of Thrones show I was on, or like, you know, a HBO or anything like that where I accumulated a huge base. I got to bring you in. I'm still selling myself to you and presenting myself to the viewers. And I feel like you're in that same space as well with the Black community and the Black comedy community, to where we still need to, you know, be brought in to you through that type of, like, you know, content being put out.
Right.
Yeah, man.
Hey, man, I appreciate all that. I receive all of
Yeah,
that.
man. You know what I'm saying? We out here.
Couple last things, cause I'm ready to go after you done talk shit about me. No, I'm joking. Hey, nigga, be ready to get off the call. Hey, well, this has been great, man. Let me put this leave button at on this Zoom call. Let me fuck on out of here.
Hit the leave button.
That told me all the shit I'm doing
computer,
wrong.
throw it out the window. Hey, I need a new laptop. I just broke mine.
Nah, I'm joking. So, when did you? Okay, so you moved to LA to start acting. You started doing stand-up comedy to become, you like, I gotta stand out.
Right.
Now I feel like there's a shift in you, which is fuck Hollywood. I'm gonna do this shit on my own, and they could come knocking when they feel like come knocking.
Right.
What was that moment? And then when did you decide to start shooting your stand-up specials independently and putting them online for sale?
You know what it came? It came from you. You know, Justin. It's all about rejection out here in Hollywood. Like, you get rejected, and you find out that a lot of Hollywood ideas aren't original. They're not really taking chances like that. They're well, let's get a show like this that's already out, or can we get an actor that's like this person? It's like, when we look at the shows that we grew up watching, like the late 70s, 80s, those type of shows, even 90s, they were getting shows on the strength of, yo, this dude is hilarious. Let's give him a show. Let's give Red Fox a show. Let's give Bill Cosby a show. Let's give Martin Lawrence a show. And so let's give George Lopez a show. Let's give Tim Allen a show. Let's give Roseanne Barr a show. They're funny. They're hilarious. Let's bring them in, show. And so they kind of drew back from that. And all right, let's go with a such and which type show with a great ensemble, and it'll be like this. And so they're not coming with the original ideas as much, and they're scared to take a chance on like a truly like funny individual now with some type of like momentum. And so they do it occasionally, but they're not doing it at the frequency they once were. But then when they do take a gamble and let the creative juices really flow from the artists, they usually run into a critically acclaimed show and a show that does well in the ratings, like Atlanta or like Insecure, or like you know, even the Carmichael show was well received. It was just like, and so me discovering that and them not knowing where to place me, I'm just like, well, I ain't got time to sit here and wait for y'all. Like, I have to make a living. I got to get my name out there. And with my numbers growing on social media, I knew the power of the people. So it was just like, well, if y'all not coming, then I'm going to just do it out the trunk. Like, I see the value in the trunk. And then once they, oh, this is already working, then here they come, you know, and within that, knowing that, you know, I've worked hard to get the people to come, and knowing that I could, you know, pay my rent on just the strength of, you know, the people supporting. Now I'm not as thirsty to say yes to whatever you give me. Please, just if you could just. Now the power is in the people and the fan base, and now that's made me less, you know, desperate or thirsty for any type of role you give me. And now I can be more selective because I was able to take it directly to the people via social media and the internet. And that's very important. Even Insecure, Issa Rae was able to procure a deal with HBO because her independent YouTube show was doing so well. They was like, hey, and I was like, hey, man, you know, And I'm sure even when they came to her, she wasn't all thirsty for it. She was just like, you know what, let's make something happen. And then boom, you know, she exploded. So now she can, you know, she's producing all different types of stuff like that. And so that really gave me, and it's scary, bro. It's scary to walk out on faith and put it in the hands of the people and hope that they respond to it. Because even my team, like my manager and like, you know, they always wanted to, all right, let's pitch the comedy special to these people and they can distribute it in this. I was like, man, let's just take it to the internet, man. Like, I was always like, let's just take it to the internet. And they was like, no, we can get, you know, but the people they were presenting it to was like, we don't know. We don't really know who he is. I'm like, the people on social media know who I am. Let's just take it to them.
Isn't that amazing how you can have 1.5 million followers, and then you got these people in these offices have no fucking clue
right
who you are, how relevant you are, how popping in the streets you are. You know, it blows my mind, man, that it can even be like that.
They're not tapped in to what people are really resonating to. They just think, oh, we need another Big Bang Theory, or we need another. It's like different bubbles in different universes. So, you know, it's like you ever go to somebody's page that you've never heard of. Usually, like on an international tip, you're like, who is this dude working with Will Smith? And then you go to that dude's page, he got like 65 million followers.
Yep. You like, where have I been?
Shit. You know, and so it's like, it's so many different, because we get stuck in our social media bubbles. And I feel like Hollywood has that bubble too, where they just don't, yeah. And so.
That makes complete sense. Hey man, I'm gonna wrap up on this. Where do you want to see yourself 5-10 years from now? The brand of Tony Baker.
To be honest with you, I would love to do. I want a long running animated series where I'm just doing the voices.
Nice.
I would love that because I recognize the value in animated shows. And once you get a good one, they can last. Look at The Simpsons, Family Guy, Bob's Burgers, South Park. They've been on since forever.
Yeah.
And so I see the value in those type of shows. I would also like to, you know, I want more sci-fi horror in my life. Like I want to see more blacks in sci-fi horror situations on TV.
Are you currently writing anything with animated or sci-fi horror? Are you
definitely got those cooking, man, on the stove cooking right now? Because I feel like it's an easy win. It's an easy win. But you just run into those problems of, you know, Hollywood just not trusting the vision of the artist.
Well, see, that's when somebody, and I'm sure your team already on it, but that's when you team with the Kevin Hart or Marlon Wayans, you know, because I don't even know what your vision is, but I could see like a black Tony. There's no black family animated.
Yeah.
The Cleveland Show isn't a true depiction.
Right.
Oh yeah, man. I got a producer mind, bro. I mean, yeah. So you know, that's why I always pride myself on seeing talent, and not only seeing talent, but seeing the vision, you know, of that artist. Because I'm also an artist.
Right.
I get on my end people not believing in my vision all the time. So that's when an artist even when when we was trying to work on something, you was telling, I was like, man, what's your vision? I know what my ideas are, but what is your vision? Because I want to support your vision.
Right.
You know, so I can already see that, you know what I'm saying? And seeing that being super successful, you know, I just wish I was in a position on the animated side to even really get something like that popping. But like I say, that's when linking up, that's when you use your resources, you know what I'm saying, on that. You know, that's when you go approach Kevin Hart or Marlon Wayans or one of them type people, be like, yo man, I'm trying to do this, because they know who you are.
Right.
And if they have any sense, which I'm sure one of them do, they gonna be like, at least one, you know, if one of them play you, the other one ain't. And be like, yo, let's go in and take this into Netflix or Hulu or Fox and get this shit cracking.
Man.
So you go do it, man. Like I said, man, I started this platform to celebrate people I feel like are living legends and people that's making legendary moves. You're a king. Continue to wear your crown held high, brother. And I appreciate you, for even coming on here and giving me your time, brother,
Thank you, man.
to do this.
Thanks for the words, man. I appreciate that, man. I'm proud of you, man. Like you, because I seen you, at the J spot, opening up for J. Anthony Brown, to going on to be to lead in the CBS show and like being a series regular on a hit show. That's, like I told you in text, man. I'm like, yo, that's rare, and for you to have that, I'm like, yo, man, that's, you know what I'm saying, that's the blessing right there. But I also know you want more for yourself, and I see that too. And I can't wait to see the full fruition of Justin Hires out here on a massive scale. So, man, proud of you, man.
Yeah, I appreciate that, bro.
Yeah, bro.
I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna do what you said. I'm gonna take your advice. I'm gonna find a way to open up. I'm gonna open up.
Cause I'm telling you, man. Once we feel like we know you, and that's when we start like really tuning in. Because people hate promo, man. They hate it. They hate it, man. I'll be like, I look at my numbers dip every time, like, got to promo it up.
Hey, man. Hey, I feel you. All right, man. I'm going to let you go. Appreciate you. Keep doing your thing, man. Be safe, man. Send my love to your family.
Oh, yeah, for sure. Same here, man. All right.
Peace, King.